My name's Georgia O'Connor and you're watching Sport and Icons.
Georgia, Mother Loving O'Connor, how are you?
I'm good, thank you, my friend. How are you?
Oh, I'm very, very well. In fact, it's been a little while since I've seen you.
A few months, I think now, isn't it?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Was it near Sunderland I've seen you before, wasn't it, in the other gym?
You were Sunderland?
No, where do you live? Durham End.
Don't mention Sunderland to me, how well? No, yeah, it was over a concert, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's been, what, June now, so
Yeah.
a few months, yeah. I've missed you, man.
I missed you too. I did. And I missed you last weekend as well. You weren't fighting.
Yeah, I missed fighting last weekend, so yeah, shame, but obviously Queen Lizzie died, and what can you do? Rest in peace.
Rest in peace, Queen Elizabeth II. So you were down there for a few days, and then, of what I hear, you can correct me, was that you meant to have the weigh-in about 11 AM, maybe lunchtime. Then they said they're going to hold it back until 3 o'clock, but then they made the announcement that the whole fight card's off around 2 o'clock from the British Box Border Control.
Yeah, so what happened was, in the midst of me being starving, I was 67 kilo, I think, the lightest I've been since I was about 12, just wanting a Nando's and to rehydrate. Obviously didn't want to eat anything in case it screwed my weight up. But yeah, so it was around 12, I think the weigh-in was initially scheduled for. Then it got pushed back to 1. Then it got pushed back to 3, so we're sat thinking, what the hell's going on? Like, and I don't really struggle with my weight. I'm lucky, I've got a fast metabolism, I can make weight fairly easy. But imagine, like, for people that are struggling with weight, have to cut and stuff, it's not really fair, I don't think. It was a bit of a bad move, you know, at least just tell us what's going on. We got to the room, they call us into a room at a really strange time. It wasn't like a structured time, it was like 2:57 or something like that, so I thought, bad sign. And everyone was just like bumbling along to this room, and I think everyone knew it was going to be called off, and then that was when the gaffers like announced, yeah, unfortunately guys. I mean, as soon as the word unfortunately left his mouth, I was straight to the fridge. Thank you, well hydrate.
So obviously that was disappointing, and obviously because there was no female heavyweights on the card, everybody was probably struggling at that point, so there's probably like a lot of angry people. And of course, unfortunately, a lot of people, they rely on wages for that night as well.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know the rules exactly, but I think fighters are like legally allowed to be paid once they've weighed in. So I was saying, I bet that's why they kept pushing the weigh-in back, greedy. No,
I
but
don't know about that.
yeah, I mean that's just what I've heard. I'm not sure there's any truth in it, but it would make sense why they kept delaying it. Because obviously, if we weigh in and we have to be paid, then they've got to pay us. There's no show. It's not really doesn't make financial sense, does it? So.
My biggest thing wasn't really the fact that they cancelled it or anything. It was the British Box Border Control waiting until the Premier League announced theirs rather than just make a decision off their own back. That's what really irritated me. But that said, October the 15th is the date that I'm hearing.
Yeah, like I agree with you completely. Instead of waiting to copy like the Premier League, albeit the Premier League's up there in terms of sport, it's why not just make your own decision. But personally, I think it could have been a nice tribute for the Queen. I don't believe she would have found it offensive if it went ahead. You know, get the Union Jacks out, play the national anthem before each fight. I think it could have been like a nice tribute for her, with it being an all-women card as well. I believe the Queen herself was in the army and was a sports fan, so it could have been a nice tribute, but obviously it's not down to me or anyone else at my level, really. But yeah, October the 15th, I think, as long as nothing happens to the King.
God rest him. Bless him, I mean. Same opponent?
Yeah, same opponent, yeah.
I will say, though, I know that I've said it before, it's strange how... again, I know that you know the 3 Olympians on that card, Lauren, Karis and Caroline, you know them from your GB days, but they're all fighting journeywomen, but yet you're fighting an undefeated Belgian champion when you've had the same amount of fights as them.
Yeah, I guess you could say beggars can't be choosers, but if I think about it, I would rather fight someone with like an undefeated record, because then it makes me look good, you know, when, speaking positively here, when I beat her, it's a feather in my cap, isn't it? And it puts me like on that next level. And yeah, sometimes I see like these journeywomen, bless them, and I almost feel bad. Like, I know everyone's got to have them to make their rounds up and get experience, but some of them are like OAPs. I mean, I'm sure one from like a couple of weeks ago, a show I was watching, I'm sure I seen her down the co-op an hour before. Like, bless her, man. I'd think like you should not be in the ring. I'd feel bad for hitting them, so I'm kind of glad that I've got like a decent opponent, because I want someone who's going to have a go and come to fight. I think that helps me shine better.
But I mean, when you take that kind of fight, that's going to obviously boost you way in the rankings, that means that world title knocking on the door maybe a bit earlier than planned.
Possibly, yeah, but that's something I'm 100% open for. I've always kind of said, I don't want to be like, yeah, I'm going to get this, I want this specific title, that specific title, but if the opportunity comes earlier than planned, then I'll take it with both hands and give it my best shot.
Are you still fighting a super welter?
Going to drop to welter, I think, because the catch weight for this fight was like 68, and I weighed in under with ease, so I'm going to try and go to welter, I think. But if not, I've said like if I feel even the slightest bit drained, I'm just going to come back up, because I'm in like decent shape at super welter, and I mean most of my success in boxing as an amateur was at 75 anyway. So yeah, just see how I feel.
That'd be handy, because Justin McCaskill, the undisputed welterweight champion, is fighting Chantel Cameron. Go on, Chantel, knock her out for the undisputed at the lower weight. So that would mean if she was to defeat Chantel, which hopefully she don't, then she can end up vacating all the belts.
Well, no offence, but I hope she kind of does then, because I wouldn't mind some of them belts myself.
But I mean, when I seen you last time, this was probably about 2 months ago, something like that, 6, 7 weeks ago, whatever. You were pretty much on weight then anyway.
Yeah, I mean, in my amateur days, you know, when I was like, well, I got on GB when I was 16, and I was very fond of pizza and chocolate. I wasn't very professional with my weight, and it fluctuated a lot, and yeah, I had to do silly weight cuts. But I think now I'm older, I understand how important this is. It's not just a hobby, it's a career, and I'm a lot more like disciplined with my weight. Yeah, I'll still treat myself, but not binging 10,000 calories every night, you know what I mean?
Just a chocolate boost.
Yeah.
Okay, so October the 15th. Although I must say that while you're down there, I've seen that you were with like a Claressa Shields and all that kind of stuff. Did you make good connections? Any plan to go over there and spar her and whatever else at some point?
That would be awesome, yeah. I mean, Claressa's a lovely, lovely woman. She gets a lot of hate, I think, from UK fans and things, but if you actually speak to her and like get to know her in person, she's class. She's one of the funniest people I've ever met. And do you know what? I respected her a lot, because despite being there and despite being a superstar, you know, she got over 500,000 followers. She still spoke to my family and made time for us, got to know us personally. So yeah, I don't have a bad word to say about her. If someone respects me, I'll respect them back.
She's probably scared of you, knowing that that could be a future fight one day.
I'm scared of her. I think if she trash talked me, I'd start crying.
Although, did you watch that press conference between her and Savannah? That was brilliant from both of them, really.
Yeah, I was creased when it started like mimicking each other's accents. Yeah, to be honest, I thought Claressa's Hartlepool accent was quite good. Like, it was. Yeah, bad, fair play. So what are we doing here today anyway? You doing some training? You doing some sparring? What are you doing? Just doing some pads. I've got my brain scan on Tuesday, so laying off the sparring until then, just in case. So yeah, just probably do 10 rounds hard pads and just plod on. What else can you do? That's
the thing, because really it's not a full camp, is it? It's a continuation, an extended camp now, really.
Yeah, I mean, it's a bit funny. I've never really done anything like this before. Obviously, I've never had a fight cancelled before so abruptly, so I'm just trying to stay fit, stay on weight, and just keep going as I was.
Was you one of those girls, because I'm sure that a lot of girls, or fighters in general, sorry, is that after they have a fight, they've already pre-booked a holiday for pretty much after the fight. Did you book a holiday and you had to cancel it or anything?
Do you know what we did? We, me and my boyfriend were going to his place. He owns an apartment in Portugal, in Lagos. So we booked that for the 16th of October, and the fight got pushed back to the 16th. So I was like, wow, thank God it wasn't like the weekend after. But yeah, our flight's at like I think 7:30, so we're pretty much safe. Just get my mum to take us to the airport.
Well, for all you admirers, because you do actually have a lot of admirers out there, you do. She doesn't really have a boyfriend.
I have what, sir?
I said, Georgia doesn't really have a boyfriend, so don't get too heartbroken.
I wouldn't say I had a lot of admirers. I get a few nice comments. It's, do I? Yeah. Oh, stop blushing. I won't now with this massive spot on my head. It's living rent-free there. So. All
right, and Georgia, anybody you want to give a shout out to, like your dad and that, who's class, by the way? I love your dad.
Yeah, I love my dad too. He's a good man. Yeah, so shout out to my dad. Shout out Mark for seeing me through the weekend. Shout out to my mum and boyfriend for making the weekend nice. We went out in London and had a really nice time, so I wasn't too disheartened. Yeah, family's everything.
Any sponsors as well?
Yeah, Unique Apparel, Fortis Vision, and Andrew Williams Groundworks. Thank you very much for all your support.
I must know, while you were down there in London, did you pick up the Cockney slang?
Not really, no. My accent's already a mess as it is. So I wouldn't want to add any Cockney to it. It's already like 7 different things I've been told.
Get your money, get your money.
Mark Clauzel.
Sorry, I'll stay out of the way.
That's what we're literally just finished now. All right, Georgia, good to see you again.
Nice to see you too, thank you.
Knock her out, don't worry about that. Knockout is coming, I promise you now. Georgia's going to stop Joyce Van E.
Stop, I'm not like that.
Knock her clean out.
Stop it.